In the stillness before dawn, when the world has not yet drawn its first breath, there exists a truth older than time itself. The flame of duty burns longer than the spark of motivation. Motivation flickers like a fragile candle in the storm. But duty, Yamato Damashii, the indomitable spirit of the Japanese soul, is the forge that tempers the human will. The warrior does not rise because he feels inspired. He rises because he must. His fire is not borrowed from emotion, but hammered from resolves, sharpened through pain and polished by unwavering purpose. Within the philosophy of Bushido lies this sacred truth. The path of honor demands action beyond feeling. To live by duty is to master oneself, to walk through the fires of Mujo, the impermanence of all things, with a heart that does not waver. So, if you seek strength that endures beyond days of passion, join this brotherhood of silent warriors. Comment, duty over motivation, subscribe, and become part of a spirit, forged in discipline, not desire. Thank you for walking this path with me. Together, we will become unbreakable. The blade of commitment is not forged in moments of excitement or born from fleeting desire. It is shaped through the ceaseless hammering of repetition, forged under the weight of purpose and cooled in the silence of sacrifice. Commitment is the steel that cuts through doubt, hesitation, and fatigue. It is the promise one makes not to others, but to oneself. The vow to act, even when emotion has long since abandoned the battlefield. A true warrior does not draw his sword because he feels like it. He draws it because he must. His resolve is not ignited by external applause, but sustained by the inner furnace of duty. The samurai of old did not wait for favorable winds. They became the wind. Steady, disciplined, relentless. Commitment is the unseen edge that slices through all weakness, the invisible oath whispered in the soul, I will continue. It is not a flame that dances, but a fire that endures, cold, focused, eternal. Every stroke of the blade represents a choice. To stay the course, to refuse surrender, to polish the spirit until it gleams with purpose. The master swordsmith hammers the same piece of steel thousands of times, knowing that each strike removes impurity. Each repetition builds perfection. In the same way, your commitment must endure the blows of failure, doubt, and exhaustion. Each moment you persist when quitting feels easier, you refine your edge. Motivation may give birth to action, but only commitment sustains it through darkness. The path of Hagane no Ishi, the will of steel, teaches us that endurance is not found in passion, but in persistence. When your mind screams for comfort, when your body begs for rest, commitment whispers, one more step. That whisper, repeated endlessly, becomes your unbreakable rhythm. To wield the blade of commitment is to accept solitude. You will walk paths few dare to tread, and at times you will be misunderstood, doubted, even ridiculed. But remember, the warrior's path is not meant to be crowded. It is meant to be pure. The samurai trained in silence, far from the eyes of praise, not to prove themselves to others, but to honor their own code. Commitment transforms isolation into clarity. The mind sharpens, the spirit steadies. Each dawn becomes an altar to discipline, each task a ritual of respect. When others waver, your duty remains constant, a living testament to your devotion. The blade does not question why it strikes, it fulfills its purpose. In this same way, your actions must follow your code, not your emotions. For when you act from duty, not desire, you become a living embodiment of Yamato Damashii, the soul of unwavering purpose. And so the blade of commitment becomes more than a symbol, it becomes your essence. Through its sharpness, you learn that greatness is not achieved through bursts of energy, but through the steady rhythm of consistency. Each day you rise, you add another fold to your steel, another layer to your spirit. The edge of commitment cuts through distraction, laziness, and doubt, until all that remains is focus. True mastery is not found in the heat of excitement, but in the cold endurance of repetition. Every strike, every effort, every silent victory builds a foundation stronger than any fleeting emotion. When the world forgets its purpose, the warrior remembers his. For his blade is not guided by feeling, but by duty. And in that duty lies freedom. For the one who wields commitment fears no storm, no failure, no time. He becomes timeless, forged forever in the fire of his own will. The armor of routine is not flashy, nor does it shine with the brilliance of passion, yet it is the quiet protector of greatness. It is built not in a single moment of strength, but through countless days of consistency, repetition, and resolve. Routine is the unseen guardian that shields the spirit from chaos, a structure that transforms effort into instinct. Just as a warrior dons his armor before battle, so must one wear the armor of discipline each morning, not as a burden, but as a sacred ritual. Every action performed with purpose becomes a layer of protection against doubt, distraction, and fear. The samurai understood that mastery was not achieved through inspiration, but through devotion to daily practice. They did not rise each day hoping to feel ready. They rose because readiness was their duty. Routine is not the enemy of freedom, it is the foundation upon which true freedom stands. Each repeated act, no matter how small, strengthens the armor. Waking early, training the body, sharpening the mind, honoring commitments. These are the iron plates forged in the fires of self-respect. The one who respects his routine commands his destiny. Through the repetition of ordinary actions, the spirit finds extraordinary strength. Like the blacksmith who tempers steel through endless strikes, you must temper your habits through endless days. There will be mornings when fatigue whispers, rest, and nights when comfort tempts you to drift. But the armor of routine does not yield. It is not forged by feelings, but by choice. Every time you repeat your discipline, even when weary, you polish your armor, making it impenetrable. Through this rhythm of persistence, your life transforms from chaos into clarity, a living embodiment of Seikatsu no Bushido, the way of life as a warrior. Routine grants order to the soul. It turns confusion into focus, noise into silence. The world moves in distraction, chasing fleeting bursts of motivation, while the disciplined one stands firm, protected, grounded, and calm. The armor of routine makes you unshakable amidst uncertainty, unbroken in the face of failure. Just as the warrior trusts his armor in the heat of combat, you must trust your habits when the world tests your spirit. There is strength in predictability, honor in repetition, and power in structure. Through ritual, the spirit finds peace. Through order, it finds control. When your armor is strong, even the arrows of doubt cannot pierce you. And in time, what once felt like effort becomes natural. Your movement flows like water, guided not by thought but by discipline. This is the silent beauty of the path. What was once forced becomes who you are. The armor of routine does not seek glory, it seeks mastery. It asks for patience, humility, and constancy. Those who wear it learn that progress is not loud. It is quiet, methodical, unseen. Each sunrise becomes a vow renewed, each task a prayer to purpose. The armor grows heavier for those who resist it, but lighter for those who embrace it. And when storms come, as they always do, those armored in routine do not break. They move forward step by step, knowing that consistency is invincibility. Motivation fades, passion dims, but the disciplined rhythm of routine endures like the steady beat of a warrior's heart. In this armor, the soul becomes untouchable, guided by duty, not desire, forged in patience, not pride. For in the end, it is not the fire that sustains you, but the armor you have built through countless disciplined days, the silent strength of Yamato Damashii living through you. The fire of responsibility is the purest flame a warrior can carry, a burning reminder that one's life is not merely for oneself, but for something greater. It is the fire that consumes excuses, melts weakness, and forges resolve. Responsibility is the crucible where the self is tested, where ego burns away, and only purpose remains. The samurai did not fight for comfort or recognition. They fought because duty demanded it. In the heart of Bushido, the way of the warrior, lies this sacred truth. Responsibility is the highest form of honor. To accept responsibility is to say, the outcome of this life rests with me. It is to look into the mirror of your own existence and understand that no one else will carry your burden. No one else will build your destiny. The fire of responsibility does not ask for permission. It commands transformation. It is the flame that separates those who dream from those who do, those who wish from those who act. This fire is both a light and a burden. It illuminates the path forward, but burns away all comfort. To live with responsibility is to stand at the edge of accountability, to realize that every choice, every action shapes your fate. When you take responsibility, you take power. You no longer wait for motivation because you understand that the mission depends on your hands alone. Like a warrior guarding the village gate, your vigilance cannot rest, for if you falter, the walls fall. There is no greater strength than ownership, no greater freedom than knowing that your destiny bows to your effort. The fire of responsibility demands sacrifice, of laziness, of blame, of doubt. But from those ashes you rise, cleansed, focused, and unstoppable. Seijutsu, sincerity of heart, becomes your compass. You do what must be done, not for glory, but because it is right. The world often flees from responsibility, seeking refuge in excuses, distractions, and the illusion of luck. But the warrior knows that fate favors the responsible. Responsibility transforms fear into fuel, uncertainty into direction. It is the unseen force that keeps the blade steady and the mind sharp. The more you embrace it, the stronger your spirit becomes. The fire of responsibility is not gentle. It will burn away all that is false within you. But what remains after that burning is unbreakable. A spirit that acts without hesitation, a will that does not wait for permission. Each time you say, "This is my duty," you stoke that inner flame higher. And when you fall, as all warriors do, responsibility demands you rise, not because it is easy, but because it is yours to do. Through this sacred burden you evolve from seeker to guardian, from dreamer to doer, from man to warrior. In the end, the fire of responsibility becomes your eternal torch. It guides you through the darkness when motivation fades and light seems lost. It teaches that responsibility is not punishment, but liberation, for it gives meaning to every struggle and purpose to every scar. The one who accepts full responsibility no longer fears failure, because he knows that even failure refines him. Like a blacksmith tending his eternal forge, he feeds his fire daily with action, discipline, and courage. The fire of responsibility makes you a beacon for others, a reminder that strength is not inherited, but earned through choice. It is the essence of Yamato Damashii, the Japanese spirit of resilience, honor, and unyielding will. When you take full responsibility for your life, you become the fire itself, fierce, guiding, unstoppable. And in that fire, the soul of a true warrior burns forever. The silence of discipline is not empty, it is sacred. It is the quiet hum of mastery, the stillness before the strike, the calm presence of one who has conquered himself. Discipline is not born from noise or excitement. It grows in the hush of repetition, in the solitude of effort unseen. The samurai understood this truth deeply. Their art was not in the clash of swords, but in the stillness between movements. True power does not shout, it breathes quietly in focus. The silence of discipline is the sound of purpose aligned with action, of will unshaken by feeling. When you embrace discipline, you step into a realm where emotion no longer dictates movement, only intent does. The world may crave inspiration, but the disciplined soul knows that silence is the true forge of greatness. For in that silence there is no audience, no validation, no applause. Only you, your duty, and the endless rhythm of progress. In this silence the mind learns to listen. It begins to hear the whispers of purpose that are drowned out by the chaos of distraction. Every act of discipline, Rising early, training when tired, working when uninspired, becomes a dialogue with your higher self. Each repetition, each moment of restraint, sharpens your spirit like a blade honed by patience. Discipline teaches you that mastery is not about intensity, but about consistency. It is not the warrior who burns brightest who endures, but the one who burns longest. When others chase emotion, the disciplined one follows principle. When others fall to excuses, the disciplined one stands firm in duty. This is the heart of Shugyo, the spiritual training of the warrior, the practice of refining one's soul through daily endurance. In this sacred silence, the ordinary becomes divine, and the mundane becomes meaningful. The silence of discipline is also the silence of strength. It is the composure that holds firm when storms rage, the patience that outlasts chaos, the focus that pierces through temptation. It does not react to praise nor bend under criticism. Like the mountain unmoved by the winds, the disciplined warrior remains grounded. Each day's routine is a meditation, each act of effort a prayer to the code that defines him. There is no need for recognition, for the path itself is reward enough. In discipline, ego dissolves, and in its place rises a clarity that no external force can shake. This is Fudoshin, the immovable mind, the essence of inner stillness that transforms persistence into art. The warrior who lives by discipline walks a path of peace amid struggle, of calm within fire. He learns that silence is not weakness. It is control, the purest form of strength. And as the silence deepens, it begins to echo, not with sound, but with presence. Those who encounter a disciplined spirit feel its power, even without words. The disciplined one becomes like water, adaptable yet unstoppable, calm yet commanding. In this quiet rhythm, time bends. What once felt like effort becomes nature. What once felt like sacrifice becomes serenity. The silence of discipline is the truest teacher, for it strips away all illusions and reveals the soul in its purest form. It tells you, do not seek noise, seek order. Do not seek praise, seek mastery. For mastery speaks not in shouts, but in silence. This is the discipline of Yamato Damashii, the silent flame of purpose that does not flicker in the winds of life. In that silence, the warrior becomes eternal, unmoved, unwavering, unbroken, living proof that greatness does not roar, it breathes in calm, steady silence. The spirit of Yamato Damashii, the Japanese soul, is the quiet, unyielding essence that has endured through centuries of storm, loss, and rebirth. It is the unseen flame that burns within those who live with purpose, the force that transforms struggle into strength and discipline into destiny. This spirit is not taught. It is remembered, buried deep in the marrow of those who refuse to bow before circumstance. Yamato Damashii is not about victory over others, but victory over the self. It is the unshakable will to rise, again and again, no matter how many times one falls. It is a fire that does not depend on fuel, a courage that does not depend on comfort. The warriors of old carried this spirit into battle, not with arrogance, but with serenity, knowing that true strength is not in conquering the world, but in mastering one's own heart. To live by Yamato Damashii is to live with dignity, humility, and resolve, to honor every moment as an opportunity to sharpen the soul. This spirit endures beyond the sword, beyond the battlefield, beyond the fleeting fires of emotion. It whispers in the quiet dawn as one trains alone, in the patience of daily discipline, in the courage to face pain without complaint. The spirit of Yamato Damashii is forged through hardship, every trial a strike upon the steel of the heart. It does not seek comfort, it seeks clarity. It does not ask for ease, it demands endurance. In every moment of struggle, it reminds you that purpose is sacred, and the path of duty is never walked in vain. When others see failure, Yamato Damashii sees refinement. When others retreat, it advances. The spirit does not chase after emotion, it commands it. Like a flame that burns steady through the wind, it teaches the soul to be steadfast, even when the world shakes. To embody Yamato Damashii is to live as a warrior of purpose in a world of distraction. It is to move through chaos with calm, to act with intention when others hesitate. It calls upon Makoto, sincerity, and Chugi, loyalty, as cornerstones of one's being. Every action becomes an offering, every word a reflection of honor. The spirit of Yamato Damashii does not crave recognition. It finds peace in contribution, meaning in endurance, and glory in humility. When the noise of the world grows too loud, it returns to silence, for it knows that stillness is where strength is born. It is the force that holds the blade steady, the breath that senses the mind, the light that guides one through the darkest nights. It reminds us that we do not walk this path to be seen, but to see. And when the body grows weary, and the will begins to tremble, it is Yamato Damashii that reignites the flame. It whispers, "Endure." It commands, "Rise again," for this spirit is eternal. It does not fade with time, nor yield to hardship. It is the fire that turns ordinary lives into legacies, the invisible armor that protects the heart from despair. The spirit of Yamato Damashii lives in every act of courage, every moment of restraint, every breath of perseverance. It teaches that the greatest victory is not over the world, but over one's own weakness. To live with this spirit is to live with purpose so pure it transcends emotion, time, and death itself. This is the essence of Yamato Damashii, the unbreakable soul of duty, discipline, and devotion, a fire that burns silently, eternally, within all who choose the warrior's path. In the end, the path of Yamato Damashii is not for those who seek comfort, but for those who seek truth. It is a journey that demands sacrifice, endurance, and unwavering devotion to one's duty. Motivation fades, but duty remains, and it is through duty that the spirit becomes eternal. The warrior who walks this path does not ask for ease, only for strength, does not chase glory, only mastery. Each act of discipline, each moment of persistence, forges the soul sharper than any blade. The fire of responsibility, the armor of routine, the blade of commitment, all merge into one living force, the spirit of Yamato Damashii. It is the unspoken vow to rise when all falls silent, to move forward even when the heart grows heavy. For within this sacred silence lies the truest power, the strength to act without hesitation, to endure without complaint, and to serve one's purpose without end. So, carry this spirit within you like a flame that never dies, and let your life become the forge of your destiny. You don't need motivation, you need duty, and through that duty you will become unstoppable, unbreakable, eternal.